Hello. Well, that's just dandy, isn't it? I just did a 4-minute video, live video on this, and I didn't have my microphone plugged in, so the sound was terrible. So I'm going to do it again. What I wanted to share with you today was something from the novel Olive Kitteridge, which we've been studying for the last 3 weeks in my course And Always Within Never, which is really beautiful. And we've had 3 awesome weeks on Olive Kitteridge, which is a superb novel. One of the things that's come up in the discussion of that book is the idea of the different spheres of life between the public and the private. Our public presentations in life, the things we say publicly to people, conversations, whatever they might be, and our gestures, the things we do, our behavior, the things that are visible, if you like, and our internal thoughts, our emotions, are the things that we think, the feeling states we have, maybe the things that we don't share. We don't share all of that stuff, and this has come up in time and again in the 3 weeks we've been discussing Olive Kitteridge, because it's a beautiful novel that inhabits that space. How do we navigate that difference between the things we feel and the things we share publicly? How do we kind of manage that? Because we don't share everything we think. We filter. Sometimes we hold back. Sometimes we feel like we share too much. This is always going on in the human condition, because we have this internal mind that no one can see into. It's private, but we make public gestures and announcements and words we speak. So how do we do that? What does that mean? Olive Kitteridge is a beautiful book because it inhabits that space, that kind of beautiful undecidable grey area, if you like, between the public and the private. It's ostensibly a book about a small community with various characters, Olive Kitteridge being one of the main ones, but it's all about those private those private feelings and how we suppress or repress them, and within the community, it's a very tight-knit community, so everybody knows everybody else's business, everybody knows each other. But there are still secrets. There are still, within that structure, there are still people that are having affairs. There are still people that have secrets, that have things that they don't want to tell anybody, and it's a delicious book. It's absolutely beautiful. Elizabeth Strout is an absolute cross person in terms of being able to to render these beautiful stories in a way that we're so beguiled and compelled by them. But as I say, one of the things that's come up for us is this public and private conversation. How often the characters will think something and then not share it. They'll have these deep feelings and they can't share it because sharing it would create, would ruin the structure of their lives. Olive herself is in love with another man. She's married to Henry, but she's in love with another man. It's never articulated like that, but she clearly has strong feelings for him. She can't say anything about it. She can't express it. Interestingly, it comes out in her behavior, because we're not completely in control of our emotions all the time. And this has raised many interesting points, one of them being, how do we, if the gap between your private thoughts, your private mental world, if you like, if the gap between how you feel and how you actually express and what you say is too big, maybe that creates a lot of tension. If maybe a healthy, authentic, life is when the things you think and your internal narrative is pretty close to how you are in the world. That would kind of make sense to me. I don't know if it's true, but it kind of makes sense. Certainly some of the characters in the book demonstrate high stress because they aren't being true to how they really feel inside. So one of the things I wanted to do today was just bring that to you and say, how is it for you? How do you find this public and private idea? Are you dealing with your own issues about, things that you can't express and you feel stressed about that? What does that mean? What do you think about the idea that the closer our internal narratives are and our emotions are to the way we express in the world, creates probably a healthier balance? What do you think about these things? I wanted to bring it because we've had so many wonderful discussions over the last 3 weeks that relate to this kind of, this idea. And I just wanted to drop it in as a little point today and give you something to think about, because that's the way our classes go, and they're really interesting, and these things are fascinating to think about anyway. So you might never have considered that before. In terms of this, this difference maybe between how we feel inside and how we express. So I just wanted to bring it to you today. Thanks for listening, and there'll be more coming along soon. Thank you.